Most Americans think the biggest retirement risk is the market crashing or living too long. The truth is more frustrating. The most expensive mistakes are usually paperwork mistakes, timing mistakes, and small decisions that quietly trigger taxes, penalties, and higher healthcare costs. What if retirement doesn't drain your money because you spend too much, but because the rules change and nobody tells you the new rules? What if you can do everything right, save for decades, and still lose thousands simply because you pulled the wrong dollar from the wrong account at the wrong time? Picture this. You finally hit 60. The mortgage feels lighter. The schedule slows down. The dream is supposed to start. But then a letter comes in. A tax bill appears that you didn't expect. And suddenly, you're not enjoying retirement. You're managing surprises. Stay until the end, because one of these traps is the one that hits careful people the hardest. It punishes you for being responsible, and it's the exact kind of thing banks and institutions never explain in plain English. Let's get into it. The first thing to understand is simple. Retirement is not one financial season. It's multiple seasons. And each season has different rules for taxes, Medicare, Social Security, and withdrawals. If you treat retirement like one long same plan every year, you accidentally step into traps that cost real money. Trap number 1, claiming Social Security without a strategy. Many people claim the moment they're eligible because it feels safe. But Social Security is one of the few retirement decisions that can lock in a smaller check for life. The trap isn't claiming early. It's claiming early by default, without checking what it does to you and your spouse over 20 or 30 years. To fix this, don't ask, "Can I claim?" Ask, "What age creates the best lifetime outcome for my household?" Trap number 2, getting your Social Security taxed harder than expected. Social Security feels like a benefit, so people assume it's tax-free. Then they withdraw from an IRA, add a little part-time income, and suddenly more of their Social Security becomes taxable. This is where retirement feels like a trick. You make one extra move and the tax system pulls more strings than you expected. To fix this, you have to plan withdrawals alongside Social Security, not after. Trap 3, triggering higher Medicare premiums, the silent penalty. This is one of the most painful surprises. You can have a perfectly normal retirement year and then do one large withdrawal, one Roth conversion, or one big capital gain sale, and Medicare premiums can jump later. People don't think of that as a penalty, but functionally it is. To fix this, treat big income years like controlled burns, not accidents. Trap 4, missing Medicare timing and getting punished for it. This trap is brutal because it's not about investing skill. It's about timing. Miss an enrollment window, misunderstand employer coverage, or assume you can handle it later, and retirement gets more expensive for no good reason. To fix this, learn the enrollment windows before you retire, not after. Trap 5, taking the wrong withdrawals in the wrong order. Retirement isn't only about how much you withdraw, it's where you withdraw from. If you yank money from tax-deferred accounts first, you can inflate taxes and create ripple effects that hit your premiums and benefits. To fix this, build a simple withdrawal order, then stick to it unless a life event forces a change. Trap 6, ignoring required withdrawals until they force you. At a certain point, retirement accounts stop being optional. If you wait until forced withdrawals begin, you may lose the years when you had the most tax control. People think they're being conservative by not touching it. Sometimes that backfires. To fix this, use the years between retirement and forced withdrawals to shape your future tax bracket. Trap 7, turning one-time income into a permanent problem. Selling a property, cashing out a big chunk, realizing gains, doing a huge conversion. One-time moves can create multi-year consequences. Retirement is full of delayed reactions. You do something now and the system responds later. To fix this, before big moves, ask, what does this do next year? Trap 8, withholding nothing and letting taxes ambush you. Working years often handle taxes automatically. Retirement doesn't. People take distributions, forget withholding, and then learn the hard way that "I'll pay later" can come with penalties and stress. To fix this, set withholding on distributions or plan estimated payments. Trap 9, Accidentally making healthcare your biggest budget leak. Healthcare costs don't ruin retirements only because they're high. They ruin retirements because they're unpredictable. A plan that ignores deductibles, prescriptions, and out-of-pocket spikes is a plan built on hope. To fix this, budget healthcare like a bill, not like an emergency. Trap 10. Thinking downsizing is always a win. Downsizing can be smart. It can also be expensive if you ignore taxes, transaction costs, insurance changes, renovations, and the lifestyle reality. Sometimes people trade a paid-off home for a new set of recurring costs. To fix this, run the full math, not just the home price. Trap 11. Letting fear choose your investments. After 60, people become more sensitive to volatility. That's normal. But fear can quietly turn into cash drag. Sitting in low-yield accounts for years, losing ground to inflation, and then being forced to take bigger withdrawals later. To fix this, keep a real cash buffer for comfort, but don't turn your whole portfolio into a buffer. Trap 12. The responsible person trap. Being so careful you miss the best years of control. This is the one that hits disciplined people. They saved. They avoided debt. They did everything right. And then they retire and refuse to touch anything, refuse to plan withdrawals, and refuse to make proactive moves because they don't want to mess it up. But in retirement, not planning is still a plan. And sometimes it's the most expensive one. To fix this, pick a simple annual routine. Review income sources, review taxes, review healthcare, review withdrawals. Once a year, calmly, on purpose. Now, put all of this together. Retirement traps aren't usually dramatic. They're quiet. A form, a timing issue, a withdrawal, a benefit decision, a premium adjustment. And the reason they're so costly is because they don't feel like spending. They feel like life. Here's a practical example. Imagine a household getting Social Security and withdrawing from an IRA. If they pull an extra amount just to be safe, that can increase taxable income, which can increase how much of Social Security is taxed, which can push Medicare premiums higher later. One decision creates 3 costs without buying a single thing. That's why institutions rarely explain retirement in plain language. The system is complicated, and complexity keeps people dependent. The goal is not to fear retirement. The goal is to see the rules clearly enough that you stop paying unnecessary costs. If you want, the next video can be the exact checklist version, the 12-question retirement audit for Americans over 60. Subscribe and move to the next video so you can build a retirement that feels calm, not confusing. Just a reminder, this is educational content, not financial advice. Your results depend on your situation, your choices, and your local rules.